ADHD emotional wounds. I recently visited a psychiatric clinic and had my ADHD medication slightly reduced. I started treatment in November of last year. I told the specialist that lately, when I think about my past events, I feel like there must have been a reason why I did what I did, even if I didn't realize it at the time. I feel like I'm starting to trust myself a little more than before. Previously, I used to think that everything was my fault and it made me hurt and sad. The specialist said that it's a necessary step, but it's not easy to reveal such feelings compared to the intensity and content of the wounds, and that a hurting mind is like a hurting body. Throughout my life, I haven't experienced major setbacks in my academics, work, or achievements. I always found the answers and delivered the results. Being ADHD, my brain structure was different from others and I excelled in some aspects. I had the ability to see the big picture at once, and my brain rotated quickly. There are people who are quick-witted but slow in speech and action, but I was fast in both. Although ADHD is characterized by weak concentration and weak executive function due to the underdevelopmental prefrontal cortex, I had perseverance, drive, and execution power. I was lazy but agile, and I grasped the essence of things. I accomplished things in difficult situations that ordinary people couldn't do. Of course, I slept through the class all throughout high school and college because I was studying things that didn't interest me. When things are uninteresting, it feels like my brain shuts off. My constant sleeping during class was a testament to that. I guess that's just who I was. However, due to that brain structure, I experienced tremendous frustration in human relationships. I was abandoned before I was a year old by irresponsible parents and handed over to others, so I was never properly cared for. Have you seen a 5-year-old living alone? I grew up lonely, sad, and depressed because there was no interaction without my mom. In addition to my innate ADHD, my slightly more autistic tendencies were reinforced due to the neglectful situation and the abuse and the suffering I endured in the family after my father's remarriage. My stepmother silenced and oppressed me, and because of her abuse, I stopped talking. I talk a lot, so it felt like I was going crazy when my mouth was shut. So I studied like Anna of Green Gables. I went into the world of fantasy and the abstract idea to study to survive. As a result of the functional communication and learned the helplessness stemming from the distorted human relationships, I developed a passive attitude and a victim mentality due to violence, abuse, and exploitation of my stepmother, uncle's wife, and siblings. I saw a video on YouTube about a cat that had a skin disease was abandoned. A kind person took care of it and wanted to send it for adoption. The cat had been living in a cat breeding factory, giving birth to kittens that were sold in pet shop for 6 years while being abused. When the cat became sick, it was thrown away with other cats in the same neighborhood. The person who wanted to take care of it and adopt the cat believed that it had suffered from long-term abuse, so it would be better to send it to a place where only one cat would be raised rather than in a house with many other cats who might harm it. This story reminds me of myself. I am someone who shuddered at the mere thought of people for whom thoughts of people only bring pains and sadness. When I meet people, my soul feels like it's leaving my body, and I ended up overdoing it and ruining the mood with words that I don't mean. I try to fit with group of people by acting like clown, but I've been rejected time and time again. I never felt accepted in any family, school, workplace, or peer group. I felt like everyone misunderstood and hated me. Despite this, I always felt like I had nowhere else to go, so I forced myself to study and work hard, which only made me sicker. However, once I found out I had ADHD and depression, I felt relieved. Now I know it's okay to take a break when I'm hurting. I have been staying at home for a year now, not meeting anyone and doing things that suit me. I have come to realize that 90% of all the pain I have experienced in my life came from the relationships with other people. In all these situations where I have isolated myself, I feel safe and secure. I have made a promise to myself to live the rest of my life alone. I am unable to communicate with people. I cannot socialize with them. And the harder I try, the further away they seem to get. They don't even expect me to make an effort and find it burdensome when I do. They only like me for my ability and the little money I have. I am determined to live the rest of my life taking care of myself and doing the things that I welcome me, while healing all the wounds from the coldness in my heart from when I think of people. I was only wolf from the start, and I will continue to be so in the future. I have no choice but to live that way. I think it's better to live that way than to not to live myself and die.